The real estate salesmen were spending time in the office as usual. They knew they would be home from work in a few minutes. Then a young man in a suit walks in. He was the sales guru sent by the head office. Everyone called him Machine Gun. He came to improve the current sluggish working atmosphere of the company. He gave a sarcastic rallying speech, cursing the salesmen in the audience to be useless. If you scumbags want to keep your jobs, you have to work your asses off. Good business resources can only go to the best people. The company will give the sales champion a fancy car, while the last two will be waiting to be fired. Everyone was overwhelmed by the sudden change, but they had no choice. It seemed that they had to start working overtime tonight. There are 4 salespeople in the office. Shelley has stayed the longest, yet his business hasn't improved with age, and his daughter's illness in the hospital has added to the poor family's woes. George's situation was similar to Shelley's. Years of working as a salesman had robbed him of his exuberant energy. The reforms in the office did not appeal to him. After all, he was making a decent living. Shelley took the client information given by the manager and growled at him. These clients have not been able to handle after so many years. You are now turning out to me, is not difficult for me. The manager doesn't care so much. If you have a problem with that, then you go to the machine gun master. It's a wasteful act to give good resources to people who aren't capable anyway. Shelley can't say anything. The success rate of harassing phone calls is not very high. While George, he pulls up honest Dave. They were out talking business with clients while complaining to each other. The company is a vampire. We can only get 10% for a hard-earned deal. What kind of reform is the company trying to do now? Do they think everyone is a sales champion material? Dave couldn't agree more. Dude, you are so right. I'm not good at my job because I'm being oppressed by the company. George suggested that to get our dignity back, we go back to the office and steal customer information and then dump it to other companies to earn money and still make the company lose money. This is to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Seeing Dave hesitate, George pulled him into the bar. He intended to use alcohol to increase their courage. George and Dave intend to upsell customer resources. On the other hand, Shelley still insisted on calling clients in the office. The manager was ready to go home from work. He rushed to catch up with the manager and begged bitterly. Please do me a favor. For the sake of my diligence for so many years, please give me some good resources. My daughter is still in the hospital. The manager didn't want to talk to him. This rule is set by the head office. If you have a grievance, don't come to me either. The company has given you good resources before, but you screwed up. Shelley was devastated. He still had a family to support. He chased the manager to the door and stopped him again. 10%. If you give me a good deal, I'll split it with you privately if I get a deal. The manager didn't agree immediately. He also had a family. Shelley assured the manager that he was also a former sales champion. Now it's just bad luck. Give him a chance, and the manager would be able to lie down and count his money. Shelley was angered by the manager's attitude, but he agreed to increase his share to 20% and to sell a single resource for $50, paid in advance. I have never seen such a brazen person. Greed for money should also have limits. He got out of his car in anger and knocked on the door of a customer. Shelley set himself up as an elite salesman with a busy schedule and plenty of resources at his disposal. I'm here to give you a benefit. Yet his enthusiasm was doused in a flash like a fire placed in a pouring rain. His wife happened to fill out a questionnaire and his home phone was flooded with nuisance calls. Now there's actually a bad old man harassing him on a rainy night. You get the hell out of here. Shelley had no choice but to run to the phone booth to continue working. While these 3 people are worried about the new rules, the sales champion Rome is relaxing and drinking with customers in the bar. He acted as the customer's spiritual mentor, for the customer to guide life troubles. With a few words, he made the client trust him. After 3 rounds of drinks, the conversation was almost over, so he took out the land brochure and launched a final attack. It was obvious that Rome had negotiated another deal. This month's sales champion was bound to be him. The next day, he ran to work with great enthusiasm. However, the glass at the door shattered and the police stopped him. It turned out that someone had stolen client information from the office in the middle of the night, and everyone was suspected and needed to be investigated. Rome's face changed dramatically and he rushed straight in. The thief had not only stolen the information, but also the office phone. He was dumbfounded. The contract was lost, which meant that all his previous efforts were in vain, and for the sake of performance, he had to continue communicating with the client he had pestered. Even the usually calm people encounter this situation can only vent by swearing. At that moment, Shelley rushed in excitedly, saying, "Get the chalk. I've made more than $80,000 from those junk customers. Hurry up and put me on the sales list." George congratulated him and incidentally told him about the theft of the contract information. Shelley didn't care when he found out the customer information was stolen. He now finished his performance and no longer had to worry about being eliminated. After being pleased with himself, he happily passes on his experience to Rome. Rome had a surprise visit from a client last night, who had signed a contract after getting drunk and confused last night. When his wife finds out about it, she scolds him, and after consulting a lawyer, She learns that he has 3 days to consider the deal, so she immediately tells him to pick up the check. Rome obviously knew what the client wanted, but it was impossible to spit out the money he already had, so he asked Shelley to help him act, and the two of them were about to leave the office. The manager came out at that moment and recognized the client. His self-professed gracious hospitality only to reveal that the check has already been cashed. Rome has lost a potential client and is unmotivated to work, preferring to be questioned by the police rather than face the manager again. Shelley also finds an outlet to vent her accumulated grievances. You got the manager's position because of your resources, not to mention your lack of real talent, and now you dare to meddle in other people's business. He talked endlessly and recalled his glory days. Unfortunately, he revealed the truth. He knew the manager was lying. The manager instantly got something. It turns out that before the end of the day he would send the customer information to the head office, only last night in a hurry to get home, forgetting that at that time in the office, the only person who knows about this matter is Shelley. Under the manager's questioning, Shelley admitted that he stole the information to sell. The relationship between the two was instantly reversed. Shelley began to court the manager again. Please do not say anything. I will solve the matter. How about give you the half of I earned? This manager did not agree. Although he relied on relations to get to the top and did not contribute something, but still retains a trace of the bottom line. Rome ended the questioning, ready to start again from scratch. After all, people will always find a way out. Shelley looks at the scene with great difficulty. He probably cannot keep their previous agreement to eat together. The police are waiting for him in the questioning room. The film is based on the stage play of the same name, about 4 salesmen who try to pull in business for a reward, revolving around a group of men's dialogue, with a simple arrangement of scenes and a few images to make the power of language more prominent. The film is comical, but it is not a tragedy, nor is it a comedy. The psychology of the salesman is meticulously portrayed, and the superiority of the inferior is the way how society runs. See you next time.